Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. The subject matter of this segment and the interview we're about to conduct is very sensitive in nature. And I say this just as a heads up, certainly to any parents out there, if there are kids in the room, because it is summer break, if there's anybody who's of a certain young age or something like that who might potentially be disturbed by the conversation we're about to have, I give you that fair warning, a heads up here on NBC Sports on Peacock and this Rich Eisen Show radio affiliate. But it's an important subject matter, and again, it's very sensitive, certainly when you're talking about sexual abuse in a sports program. And I talked about this just a couple weeks ago when the subject matter certainly was laid bare, involving my alma mater, which makes it very sensitive for me personally as well. That if I'm going to be on this show talking about this subject matter when it happened at Penn State with a football coach, or at Michigan State and Ohio State in the Big Ten, as it happened with doctors at those facilities and those institutions of higher learning in the Big Ten, then I'm going to be consistent and talk about it here on the Rich Eisen Show. And in that vein, in that mold, is how I bring in my next guest, who reached out to me wanting to talk more about what he talked to Sports Illustrated about in a very moving article, with the cover story being Jarrod Bunch doesn't want to tell you this story, but he will. And he's now here on the Rich Eisen Show, somebody who was on the team that I saw from 86 to 90 when I was on the campus, and then spent many years in the National Football League as well. Jarrod Bunch here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Jarrod?
Rich, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm good. I'm good. You know, just this situation is not something that I enjoy, but me talking about it has brought a lot of, I'm hoping to bring a lot of clarity. And it's also, people have been reaching out to me and thanking me for doing something. I just thought I was, you know, I'm just telling the truth of what happened, and I'm not the only one. It's, you know, this is, I would say 80% of the guys that went to University of Michigan all went through the same thing. I mean, that was the way he did a physical, period.
He being Dr. Robert Anderson, who was at the school at the time. And, you know, I like I said, one of the many reasons why I wanted to talk and have this conversation with you, Jarrod, is because so many people that I went to school with and at the time, as well as since, want to know what to think about all this, and what to believe, and what to understand, and what to comprehend and take in. So I'll give you the floor on that, as to what did happen to you and what you want us to know about, Jarrod.
What you know, the way I look at it is, what happened to me was what happened to all the players, the football players that I was playing with for my years from 86 to 90, 91, when I left University of Michigan. We all went through the same physical. If you saw Dr. Anderson, he did the same type of physical. He did a rectal exam. He did, you know, check for prostate and did all these other things that we had never been through. But my first time going there, it was a discussion. You know, the guys on the team, older guys, all talked about, you know, all right, you get ready to go see A. You know, Dr. Drop the Draws, you know, that was it. I mean, it was not like something that you got in there and you were a big surprise. Everybody went through it. It was just something that, it was the physical. And I didn't even know that it was a difference until I got to the pros. When I had a physical with the pros, I'm like, that's it? Oh, okay. You know, that was it. I mean, that was the atmosphere at Michigan was, you know, if you're going to see him, you're going to drop the draws.
Well, and some people might be hearing this, Jarrod, and thinking, well, shouldn't a doctor be checking for prostate cancer, even though obviously that sort of stuff doesn't usually manifest itself until later in life? But you thought that the manner in which the physical was being conducted unnecessary? Is that Is that what you're saying?
After, at the whole time that I'm at Michigan, I never had any physical like this. So I didn't know. I thought that was the way physicals went.
Mm-hmm.
And the talk from all the players and prior to it and after and everything else was, you gonna stick your finger in your butt, and that was the talk. And he gonna have you doing this, and he gonna have you doing that before you even get there. When you get in there, everybody was talking, what to expect. So that was the physical. That was what I understood, and everybody else understood. I just found out that everybody didn't go through that. And when I'm saying that everyone was talking about it, the people who I was around, that would be the running backs and the offense. And the freshmen, when we came in as freshmen, we had our own locker room. We stayed together because they wanted us to grow up together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we talked to. And whatever upperclassmen that you were around, that's who you got your information from or what to expect. So we became those upperclassmen after the first year, and this was every year. The physical was the same. You do that, and you you tell the guys, what to expect. Now, sometimes throughout the year, if you had to go back and see him, for whatever reason, it was always, basically you go in there, he gonna ask you till you drop the jaws.
Even if what you were going for did not, was not, he'd say that to you, even if you had like an upper body injury or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So, Jarrod Bunch here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, did you ever, or anybody else ever, complain to the coaching staff that what's going on with the doctor is something that is making you uncomfortable? Did you ever communicate something like that, or you or any of your teammates ever communicate something like that to the coaching staff at the time?
We had discussions. I never had to go and say, I never went and said a complaint, because it seemed, for me to see him, I personally had things with a groin or a stomach or something that it made sense that you have to drop. But as I'm saying that I've come out, guys are now telling me, man, I used to go there for a headache, I go there for a concussion, I go there for whatever. But I'm saying to them, how come you guys are not saying anything now? Even though I came out, I know I'm not the only one. Why aren't you guys saying anything? And they don't want to rock the boat.
Currently.
They do not want to look.
Currently.
They do not want to look.
Currently is what
Hello?
you're saying. You're saying currently. That's what
currently,
you're talking about.
I'm saying currently. Since this has come out, since the article has come out, guys have been all calling me, emailing me, texting me. They don't. It has become us against them. It's more like an athletic department versus the academic department, or younger players versus the older players. Some of the older players are they don't want Bo's name to be tarnished this way, because people now are talking about taking his statue down on it. And they're like, no, I don't think Bo knew about it. Even though and it's the exact words, even though we all went through the same thing, I don't think Bo knew. So if they're going to try to get the statue taken down, all that, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't think he knew. So it becomes this, it happened, but I don't think he knew about it, so I don't want to create no problems.
Jarrod Bunch here on the Rich Eisen Show from the University of Michigan, 86-90, as well as the National Football League after that. And he was subject of the Sports Illustrated article. Jarrod Bunch does not want to tell you this story here on the Rich Eisen Show. This is the ultimate question then, because again, this is what I get asked all the time. And do you think that Bo Schembechler knew that some untoward activity, at the very least, was happening in the medical room with the physician that had been on staff for all those years? Jarrod?
This is how I answered that. I never told him, But when I look over the course and I look at the Wilmer Hale report, back in 1972, Bo was told that Anderson was doing some things to players. And Bo told the player to go see the athletic director. He told him to write a letter and see the athletic director and report it. That player reported it back in 1972 about Anderson. So it was reported back then. It was going on since then. Did I ever say it? And that, like I said, players don't want to get involved. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say, because no player ever said, hey, well, I can't say no player ever, but I didn't say it. The culture was, you were not, Bo didn't want you in the medical staff. He didn't want you seeing the medical staff. He didn't want you in the training room. He didn't want you around it. So that was it. So that part, I understand why no one said anything. I ain't saying nothing because I didn't want to say nothing. I thought that was par for the course. That was it. Everybody was getting the same thing. So there's nothing to say. What am I saying? Am I looking like, oh, everybody's getting it, but now I'm the one that's complaining? I'm the one that's soft? That was the culture that you didn't want to say anything. And like today, right now, players are like, nah, yeah, we all went through it, but if they're going to tarnish his name, I don't think he knew. Well, he didn't know because none of us said anything to him. But from 1972, he knew what Anderson was. That's what I have the problem with. I didn't know. You know, and when I got to 1986, I didn't know the past. I didn't know Dr. Anderson's past and what he had been doing and what he had been accused of and what the report says he was doing.
The Wilmer Hale report is referring to an investigation that Michigan has had Wilmer Hale, I guess that's a law firm, conduct an investigation of this, and that's how you're referring to that, Jarrod. So what do you want? Yes. What do you want all of the alumni base to know? Because again, like I said, when I've known you for a long time. We went to school together. I rooted for you together. I covered Bo's final season there. I talk about what being a Michigan man is, and a Michigan man is being there for someone else. And you were reaching out saying, hey, a lot of people are you've been getting a lot of people asking you to appear in places, right? So hopefully this will be that one time, and you don't have to do this any more than you want to. So I'm here, and for the rest of the alumni base, what do you want everyone to know, and what do you hope to have come out of all of this?
What I'm so
Jarrod?
surprised about is how Michigan has taken this and not tried to make everybody whole and let's close this thing out. They have dragged this thing on. They have now made the players against the academics administration. It has split the players into those who think they need to support Bo and those who think that they just need to tell the truth. It's a split. I talked to you about having conversations with other players, we're having group chats and whatnot, and it's split because no one wants to get Bo's name tarnished. But the truth has to come out, and if the truth comes out and in some way it makes his name not look as well as it, there's some players that we think that Bo would be, look, if I have to take the hit, then I have to take the hit to get this thing fixed. But let's not tear each other apart and still not have anything straightened out when it's all over. Now his name is torn down, this is torn down, the statue torn down, and we still didn't get nothing situated, nothing straightened out. Still, there's what happened. Who's still believing on both sides? The bottom line is the man was a monster. And I say the man, Dr. Anderson was a monster. He did sexual things that he should not have been in the position. Now, why he was in that position, was it the administrator? Was it the athletic director? Was it the head coach? Whatever. The point of this matter is he was there. And they all knew about his past except the players. We didn't know. We didn't know about his past, or we went through all the things. So If we would have known about his past when we went in there and he did those things, we'd be like, wait a minute. No. And we would say something. We didn't know. How can you expect for 21, 20, 19-year-olds for the first time coming from my small town, what physical did we have? What kind of physical did I go through? It wasn't all this. When I got there, got to the University of Michigan, this big-time University of Michigan, got all the stuff going on, all the best of the best. What am I supposed to think about when I get the exam that I'm getting? That's what the best of the best gets. What do I have it to compare to? Nothing. But when I got to the pros and saw the difference, I understood. But it already had been in my mind of what the doctor's part is in the program. He's for the program. He's going to do whatever he has to do to make sure that you do what the program needs you to do. So when I got to the pros, the same thing. I'm thinking that the doctor is just for the franchise. He ain't for me. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think is, go ahead.
No. I just want to get to what the message you want for everyone to know and how you think this is going to play out, because you're part of a lawsuit, correct? And how does this all get handled to your satisfaction, do you think, Jarrod Bunch?
Number one, they're going to have to accept the responsibility. They have to accept responsibility for putting them in the position and putting all the players, all of us, in the position that we had to be in to see this man. Well, we did not. They could have chosen anyone. They could have put anybody in that position. They chose him. And I'm talking about 1986 was 14 years after they first got a report about him. And he stayed there how many years afterwards? Come on. The responsibility is on them. That goes for all of them. That goes for administrators and the coaches. They all knew, we didn't know. Their actions changed all of our lives and how we see administrators, as how we see coaches, how we see. They formed our expectations of every person that we dealt with from that point on.
Jarrod, I hope this conversation was what what you're hoping for, looking for, anything that I could do to, like I said, it's a very difficult subject because it's a family matter for all of us at Michigan, right? I mean, as you point out, a lot of your colleagues and teammates are hesitant to discuss their experiences because of it. And, you and I have conversations about how much, Michigan holds a place in our lives. And I speak on behalf of a whole alumni base. I would like to say that we're hoping for the best out of everything right here.
Rich, that's what makes me, that's the hardest part for me, is that because of I graduated from Michigan, and because of the things that I did on the football field, it gave me a chance to do a lot of other things in my life. If I had not graduated from Michigan, played at Michigan, I don't know if I would have been living in Beverly Hills. I live in Beverly Hills, California. I've had, a career in the NFL, in entertainment. I've had a lot of things, good things that happened. That's why it's hard for me to talk about, because it's not like I want to erase all of that, but I cannot just overlook what things that happened and could have been avoided if they did the right thing. So now to me, they should be trying to fix it, get the things right. Let's figure out how can we fix this. That's not what they're doing now. That's not what they're doing now.
Jarrod,
dragging this thing out.
Jarrod, I appreciate the time. Let's connect down the road. You've got my number. Let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
You bet. That's Jarrod Bunch right here on the Rich Eisen Show.